Okay, let's review quiz number 16, talking about time-based effects. So we just did a whole bunch of dynamic processors. Let's talk about time-based effects. And the first thing that I want to train you to do is put your time-based effects on an aux input. Don't insert them directly on the track. I want you to learn this way of making a send, put it on bus 1 and 2, going to an aux track, and on that aux track, that's where you put your time-based effects, your reverbs, or your delays. In Audio 1, we talked about this. It gives you more flexibility, more control, and it uses less CPU power, particularly if you want a little bit of reverb on everything, which is in many styles what you want. So instead of having 24 instances of the same reverb, you just have one, have everybody pre-routed to that. And it's a great exercise to make sure that you know your signal flow, that you understand how those things work. Anyway, use an aux track. Time-based effects, reverb and delay are the big umbrella categories that we talk about, that at least I talk about. There are modulation effects that are mostly time-based also. I think flanger is the one that I set on this question. Flanger is a time-based effect. Gate is not a time-based effect. If you're watching these in order, reviewing for something, yes, we just talked about the gate. Gate is dynamic processor, not a time-based effect. Reverb. So yeah, I think I want to tackle reverb first. In this section, reverb I'm calling the indistinct repetition of sound. I keep hearing the reverb in here as I'm talking because I'm trying to project a little bit and make sure that the camera picks it up because I'm just using the camera microphone. But right behind it, why don't we see if we can do that? Right behind it, what I'm speaking into is the diffuser that you guys all know and love, right? And so as I'm projecting into that, it's bouncing back and I'm hearing the reverb. I'm hoping you don't hear much of the reverb. You're hearing just my direct sound. But the indistinct scattering of that sound as opposed to a delay or an echo, which is a whole repeat of the same sound. Now, if we're using a reverb unit of some sort, there are some really good external units that we don't have. We're mostly going to be using plugins, but if you're using a plugin for reverb, I want to highlight two controls. Controls are a little different on every reverb, the way any plugin is. But the first one to know is called pre-delay. And so that's the time before the reverb really starts. And the longer that is, the more the apparent size. And if you're thinking about all the stuff that I like to talk about sound waves and moving and 1133 feet per second and ever-expanding spheres and bouncing back, it makes sense that if you're in a closet, right, that the time before the reverb start is going to be very short. If you're in the basketball arena, the time the reverb is going to start is much longer. So the pre-delay gives you the apparent size. Decay time is the length of the reverb. So if I set 2-second decay time, it's going to take 2 seconds for the volume of the reverb to drop 60 dB. And I like my acoustics, and that's all wrapped up in that, and I'm happy to talk more about that, but we can just leave that where it lies. Decay time is the length of the reverb. Okay, thank you very much, and for now, stay quiet.